Alright, guys, in this video, we will discuss a little bit different, or rather, one of networking part of web development, which is the web protocols. So, in the previous video, we discussed that there is a URL structure for making a connection to a website. So that URL structure starts with a protocol. So the web protocol that is most useful in the web, or uh, the number one most useful, is HTTP or HTTPS. Actually, it's like 95% um, use cases for web development. So, I mean, that number is just approximate, guys. So, HTTP and HTTPS define how we communicate with the uh, web server. So, remember the client to web server application, or uh, basics principle. So, this HTTP actually is the protocol used to send it, and request and responses. So one of the best way to understand this is by looking at an example, a real world example, like me blogging app. So when I reload this, when okay, so first, when we go to Control Shift I, which is the developer tool, there is no any records of our um, request. So HTTP request, because by default the browser would not show the recording. So we need to reload the website to see this. So for the request and response here, when you click this, um, you'll see one request, one HTTP request, and then you'll see the name of the requested resource. So for the request header, for the request and response, here it is. So there's no response yet, only request for that, because we haven't really made any changes on the blog app. Let's say ret, and then author. Let's create here. So um, when you reload this, so I have a lot of slow connection issue, but um, there should be a response header here when we do that. Let me check. So by the way, guys, the most important here is the request and response. There is a structure for that, for request and response. So I'll show you guys here. So this is the response header. So the most important here is we can check it in our Google Chrome developer tools. So and the third part is the structure of HTTP requests and response. So here is I prepare a sample structure of HTTP and request. So it starts with the start line. So that's a description. For HTTP request, it start with the HTTP method. Later, I'll discuss this, the frequently used methods on HTTP, and it has the path to the resource requesting, and then the HTTP version. For HTTP response, the description is starts with HTTP version, and then the status code, which I'll discuss the frequently used status code later, and then a brief description of what happened, uh, or what's the requested, or what the action that has been taken. So the header here starts most frequently used header host, localhost, accept what's the acceptable response by the client for HTTP requests. So let's say you're Google Chrome, and then you send a request to the server. The Google Chrome will show what is the accepted response by that server on the request header. So I think one of the best way to understand this is through an example. Here is the example request header. The content length, we will discuss that later, but basically it's in kilobytes. Here is the example request header. So this does not have any accept. Let's see, what's here? Accept. So text, HTML, application. So there is the accepted format. HTML application. So we will discuss this image, WebP, etc. So this is a get method. So here you'll see in the request header the method as well. Content type, we will discuss that later, but uh, it's related to meme type. So I'll show you the graph of meme type here later. Okay, so frequently used request headers. So that's the structure of an HTTP status text that we discussed. So this is the frequently used request headers that we would see if we request server from our client, specify which types of content the client can process, accept, like text or HTML, accept, charset, specify which charset sets the client can process or display, accept, just charset, UTF-8. So basically, that's the frequently used request headers. I think hosts are important as well. The cookie, it's important as well, contains an HTTP cookie previously set by the server via the set cookie response header. Cookie like user equals John, though we will discuss cookie later. Specify which language the client accepts, English. So that's one of the useful, and then date, like this, guys. So there's no, as you can see, guys, in this, let me check the other request if there is like a time. So as you can see, guys, not all the commonly used headers are included on the uh, resource. So every resource, basically, we request an HTTP to the server. So as you can see, there's 9 requests here. So there's 9 requests to an HTTP resource to from our client room to the server, which is our app stored in Google Cloud. So not all of request headers has time. So let's go to response header. So allow, so what is the allow HTTP methods for the requested resource? Let's look if there's like an allow here. Here, method get. for the response. Here's the response headers, and then let's see the allow header if there is an allow content link. So 126,000 kilobytes. So it's big. Content type. We'll discuss that. Date. There's a date for response. January 22, 2025. So there is no allow on the response header for this resource. How about the other resource? There's no allow as well. Response header, response header, content length, content type, text, CSS, date. Okay, so let's look on the other app, guys. Uh, let's look on another response. Response header, accept. Uh-huh. Video unavailable. Response, accept ranges. It's not an accept, but basically, it would not be available on all request and response headers. It's just the most useful. So, allow content, content length, storage space for the location, content type, meme type. We'll discuss that later. So the most important here is to understand that those requests, we can see it in a developer tool, and we can see description of our request to the server to troubleshoot in case something happened or some error happens when developing an application. So the next topic would be methods. So this is the most common methods. Get. This two is the basics, guys. So in practice, we don't usually use delete and put. So yeah, we don't usually use delete and put um, on HTTP. We usually use get and then post. So with this post, we're basically sending data to the server. So the reason for that is for security reasons. So we if we get a resource from a server, it doesn't really change something on the resource on the server, and we add data to the server, it doesn't really delete a resource. So it's not as risky as deleting. So, and then for business perspective as well, for post, any adding of data, we can use that data to know the behavior of the user, right? Then we know something that we can use uh, in the future for our user to know to determine their behavior. So usually it's used for analytics. So and then there's like put in practice. Yeah, it doesn't. This is used to update the resource on the server. However, not all browsers support this method, so we still use post. Delete, this method is used to delete resources on the server. Patch, this method is used to make selective changes to a resource. And then on the next status, frequently used status codes method and status codes. Hmm. Here, So this is the status codes. Usually you'll see here, I'll give you an example to my website. Mm, so I have slow connection, guys, so forgive me. But I'll show you how, let's see here. When I add this path to my web page, there should be a status code here, but I just have slow connection because I am in Bulacan, guys. So, yeah, 404 not found. Uh, Frequently used status codes. Yeah, there you go. Frequently used status codes. So, the frequently used status code is this. 200, 404 not found. But I want to emphasize this categories. For one, request has been received and will be processed. Request was successfully processed by the server for two, any two like 200. For one, like anything request has been received, we don't usually see that. For this four, request could not be processed, but it's a problem with the client side. So the problem is you actually when you see this status code, because for example, this 404, there's requested resource on that website or domain is not available. Method not allowed. The HTTP method used is not allowed. So there is a method that allow us to use or to see what methods are allowed for the server. Usually it's used for hacking purposes, you know. Sometimes a website is not available for like getting or post, but it's available for like delete. So we can like if someone we hate, you know, I'm not recommending doing that, but I'm just explaining that because I think it's useful for us to know the limits of this um, status codes. So the next part is meme types. So this is the meme type. So for example, on the requested resource that we have on my blogging website, the we already see this before, but I'll show you again, guys. So let's say I post here. There you go. Hmm. Response header. Vibe. Let's see the CSS, guys. I want to see the CSS because I think that's one of the best way to understand this. So as you can see, Gary, we had 8 requests and then 254 kilobyte transfer. But we need to focus on the meme type. Where is the meme type? Basically, this is one of the example application slash JSON. It means a JSON object. So I'll show you the example for JSON objects later on the next videos as well. But let's see if there's like a meme type here. It's on the content slash type. Here. So this resource post has a content application or JSON. So I'll give you an introduction for the JSON. So we can see that JSON in here. sorry, network, where is that? In response, guys. Here's an example, JSON format. So here you go. Here, application slash JavaScript. So that's the return meme type. So it's here, application slash JSON, application slash JavaScript. So it start with a description, high level description like application. It's JSON. So audio slash MP4, audio slash OGG, image JPEG, image slash PNG. So we will discuss this data format in the next videos. So the last topic is the principle of cookies. So first, this is the client. It's sent to a web server, and then the server respond with the set cookie header, and the client, then when the client sent, it responds with a cookie header sent by the server, and the server responded with HTTP user specific content. So for cookie, we usually use this for um, easy or easy reload of a resource, kind of like server side rendering, but they're not actually related. But if you think about it, that it makes the client easily access the resource without sending too much request, because every request, HTTP request we make to the server, like get, uh, has request. So it would be good if we could like save content. For example, if the user is logged in, so once they're logged in, we can provide the resource easily. So I think one of the best way to understand that is here. You can see that in application and then cookies. So YouTube here, uh, it stores the name and then value. So that's the essential part. Here, it's just an optional path expires. So YouTube saved this to be able to serve me better, because it shows, or it easily uh, allows the server to send my frequently uh, watch videos, right? Use contents. And that's it, guys. And hope like you're learning, and see you on the next videos. Thank you.